PlayStation recently announced that PS2 emulated games would be coming to the PlayStation Store, and one of the first games they released as part of this new initiative is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. This is one of my all-time favorite childhood games, so when I saw they would be releasing it on PS5, I couldn't wait to jump back in and play it all over again. Then, when I found out the game would also include a PS5 trophy list and a shiny new platinum trophy, I knew what had to be done. In today's video, we will be platinuming Sly Cooper on PS5. The game starts off with Sly and his crew trying to steal some files from the police station. After stealing the files, we meet Carmelita Fox for the first time. The cop tries to catch us, but we're able to get away after an intense chase sequence. After this, we learn more about Sly and his friends. As it turns out, those police files held valuable info for Sly's mission to avenge his family. Sly comes from a line of master thieves who kept their secrets in a book called the Thievius Raccoonus. Sly and his family only steal from criminals though, not innocent people. Unfortunately, all that stealing from criminals angered the wrong people, including a group known as the Fiendish Five. The Fiendish Five killed Sly's dad and stole the Thievius Raccoonus. After this, Sly had to go to an orphanage, and it was here he met his best friends and partners in crime, Bentley and Murray. Now, the three have set out to steal back the Thievius Raccoonus from the Fiendish Five and get revenge. This brings us to the first stage of the Platinum playthrough, which will just be playing through the main story. Sly Cooper has several small hub worlds that lead into levels. Each level has a certain number of clues to find. If you find all the clues, you can open the vault and get a new ability or upgrade. Now, I could have sped up this Platinum quite a bit by playing through the entire game with a guide and getting all the clues on my first go around, but honestly, I just wanted to enjoy the game first. The game is short enough that I really don't mind having to go back through some levels later. The first world, Tide of Terror, would have us taking on Rally the Frog. In the first level, I got my first trophy for collecting 5 clue bottles. For the next hour, I continued playing through levels, collecting clues, opening safes, and getting keys, as we worked to unlock a cannon that could help us reach Rally's ship. After getting the final key we needed, I got a trophy for completing all jobs in Tide of Terror. With the cannon unlocked, we could now fight the boss. The fight was fairly simple, just having to avoid Rally while he jumped around until the window when I could attack. I did die a few times here though, mainly from the platforms falling because Sly cannot swim. After a few attempts, I got the hang of it and took him down, getting me another trophy. With one member of the Fiendish Five down, it was time to go for our next target, Mugshot. Mugshot is found in Sunset Snake Eyes, a town resembling an abandoned Las Vegas. This world actually gave me my first challenge in the game, as this random jump between hooks gave me a ton of trouble. No matter what I did, Sly just wouldn't grab onto the second hook. I ended up game overing here twice and was getting quite annoyed. Finally, after like 10 deaths, I was able to make the jump. I genuinely don't know what I was doing wrong here, but I think it was just a case of needing to press the circle button earlier. I was waiting until it looked like I was near the hook, but in reality, I could have been pressing it much earlier, as it would lock me into the animation and get me where I needed to be. Or maybe I just got lucky this time, I don't know. Anyways, with that out of the way, we could finally make some progress in this world. This world introduced some of the mini-game style levels that included a race and a first-person shooter level where we needed to protect Murray. This Protect Murray mission went really well, as you can see. After accidentally blasting Murray in the face, we had all the keys we needed to unlock the next area. In this area, we got right back on the grind, collecting more clues and more keys. We had another run-in with Carmelita Fox, who chased us down. I was really impressed by these chase sequences with Carmelita. They are really fast and fluid, impressive considering the age of this game. After escaping Carmelita for the second time, we had just one more level to complete before fighting Mugshot. At the end of this level, another trophy popped, and now it was time for the boss. In this fight, Mugshot absolutely unloads the clip in his gun as Sly tries to hit mirrors that could redirect the light. For some reason, after redirecting the light, Mugshot would say his guns were destroyed. It's a video game, don't question it. I was finding the fight pretty difficult at first, as it was really tough to avoid his gunfire. Eventually though, I realized if I used the roll ability, Mugshot's bullets wouldn't hit me. That made the fight a breeze, and after his 3 phases, Mugshot was defeated, unlocking the Blinding Blaster trophy. Now it was time for World 3, called Vicious Voodoo. Here we would face off against Miss Ruby. I'll say right off the bat, this was probably my least favorite world in the game. I don't know, it's just really like dark and dreary. Obviously that's the vibe they wanted here, but for me, I just prefer the more colorful levels. I also found a lot of the enemies and obstacles here to just be pretty annoying. However, there were some fun parts of the world. There was this cool chase sequence with a monster that was pretty fun, and then I played this mini game where you had to light tiki torches on fire with a time limit, and I completed it with like literally 2 seconds to spare. Despite some of my frustrations with this world, I still managed to get through it with relative ease. In fact, I even managed to open all the vaults in this world on my first playthrough, getting me a trophy. Immediately after opening that last vault, I collected the final key we needed in this world, unlocking the Cauldron Disaster trophy. With all of the keys collected, we could now fight Ms. Ruby, and I take back everything bad I said about this world because I loved this boss fight so much. Ms. Ruby's fight is a rhythm game that gave me major Parappa the Rapper vibes. My years of playing rhythm games games finally came in handy here as we took down Ms. Ruby and got another trophy. It was now time to complete the last fully sized world in the game with Fire in the Sky. In this world, Sly and the gang traveled to China to take down the Panda King. This world was great. Everything I didn't love about Vicious Voodoo was fixed here, with way more color and vibrant areas. Once again, we traversed through the levels collecting clues and keys. I was pretty confused by this room here that featured a ton of training enemies because they just let me walk right past them for some reason. Aren't you all training to fight me? I'm literally right here. Anyways, I made it through all the levels with no trouble at all, including another Murray race where I absolutely ruined this guy's entire day. Once again, Carmelita Fox shows up and tries to catch us. Thankfully though, she was nice enough to wait for me to open this vault real quick. This vault gave me the water safety technique, which means I can no longer be hurt by water. That would have been great to have back on those damn hooks. Oh well, at least we got a trophy for unlocking this ability. After opening the vault, we completed the chase scene. Since this was the last key we needed, I got another trophy. Now it was time to fight the Panda King, who is a panda that does kung fu. And wait a second, when did this game come out again? Cause I think someone at DreamWorks owes Sucker Punch some royalties. Thankfully though, it looks like Poe hasn't finished his training with Master Shifu yet, because this boss was insanely easy. You basically just run in a straight line until you get close to him and he blatantly telegraphs his every move. I took one hit while learning his moveset, and after that, it was a cakewalk. We took down Poe and got the Panda Pummeler trophy. Now it was time to take on the final boss of the game, Clockwork. This is considered the 5th world of the game, but it doesn't follow the same formula because we're not collecting keys or playing traditional levels. There were just a lot of mini games, such as this on-rails sequence where Sly had to protect the van. Then Murray had to drive around and collect computers before these orange monsters took them. What do orange blobs need computers for anyway? After this, the gang continues on and finds Carmelita Fox has been trapped by Clockwork. Despite her trying to take us down the entire game, Sly decides to help her because he's just such a great guy. But it was a setup, and Sly gets stuck there too. Thankfully, Bentley is able to hack into the mainframe and shut it down. With Carmelita and Sly now freed, the two agree to a temporary truce until they can take down Clockwork. Carmelita tells Sly where she left her jetpack, but in order to reach it, I had to climb through Clockwork's death ray. Once I made it through, I got the death ray destruction trophy. Sly hops on Carmelita's jetpack, and it's time to fight the final boss of the game. Not gonna lie, this fight was pretty anticlimactic. It looked cool, but Clockwork's moves are super easy to dodge. You pretty much just move slightly to your left or right and then hold down the fire button. There was a second phase, but it was just as easy as the first. These rings look intimidating, but all you have to do is just line yourself up in the middle and they can't even hit you. After that surprisingly easy fight, Sly smacks the hell out of him and Clockwork is now defeated, avenging the Cooper family. Finishing this fight popped 2 trophies for defeating Clockwork and for stealing a kiss from Carmelita. Sly and the gang drive off into the sunset and the main story of the game is done. Now it's time for stage 2 of the platinum. Stage 2 is going to consist of cleanup. I need to go back to the levels where I didn't find every clue bottle and unlock all of the vaults. I also need to complete 10 Master Thief sprints, which is like a time trial challenge type of thing. This is the point of the platinum playthrough where the amount of trophies unlocking really started picking up. Going through and finishing up the clues and vaults was pretty easy. I was only missing a couple in the levels where I missed some. First, I got the trophy for opening all the vaults in Tide of Terror. While I was going for all the bottles in Boneyard Casino, I got the Sleight of Hand trophy for killing all of these guards without being spotted. Continuing on in World 2, I opened a vault that gave me the Defy Gravity ability, giving me a trophy. This was also the last vault I needed for this world, so that trophy popped too. On this same level, I got a 3rd trophy for knocking down 4 cars onto innocent civilians. Since I already got all the clues in World 3, I skipped right to World 4. After unlocking the last vault I needed, I got the Safecracker trophy and the vault grind was complete. If this were the PS3 or Vita version of the game, the platinum journey would pretty much be finished here. However, the PS5 version of the game introduces quite a few brand new trophies, and while none of these trophies were too bad, they can be a bit tricky, making the PS5 version of this game the hardest version to platinum. As I started taking on these new trophies, I went for the Master Thief sprints first. These time trials are found in each mainline level and can actually be pretty difficult. Thankfully though, I only need to complete 10 of them, and since there are more than 10 levels in the game, I can skip some if it seems too difficult. And that really helped me out, because some of these levels just feel like they really aren't meant to be speedrun, usually due to certain obstacles or enemies requiring stealth. It took me about an hour to do all these, so not too bad, but I did find myself getting kind of frustrated at times. The developers really weren't too generous here. You do have to play pretty nearly perfect to make it in time. Ironically, I found the easiest levels to speedrun were in World 3, despite that being the world I struggled with the most on my first playthrough. While speedrunning, I ended up unlocking the Perfect Date trophy for completing 2 to tango without taking damage or falling. My last Master Thief trial was on the Dread Swamp Path, and once I finished that, we got the Speediest Thievius trophy. That, my friends, brings us to stage 3 of of the platinum, which is just all of the miscellaneous trophies. These trophies include random little objectives throughout the levels. Stick with me here because we got 13 of these bad boys to fly through. My first objective was to clear a cunning disguise without using the barrel. This seemed really difficult at first, but what I found online is that you can actually just enter and then exit the level, and for some reason that pops the trophy. This is definitely not intended, and I could see them fixing this soon, but yeah, for now it works. After that, I got a trophy for destroying 4 signs in a stealthy approach. Then I traveled back to the room I had mentioned previously where all the monkeys are training, and despite them completely leaving me alone, I murdered them all anyway because the trophy told me to. I was able to cheese another objective in the fire down below. You're supposed to clear this whole level without grabbing a hook, but I just entered and then exited the level and got the trophy. Next, I had to smash 7 panes of glass in back alley heist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and trophy. Now it was time for a tricky one that asked me to take a shortcut over flaming debris in the gunboat graveyard. I never quite got the hang of this one, but I got lucky and the trophy popped despite me landing in the water and not on the platform. You can even see me hit the pause menu to rewind because I assumed it wouldn't work. But it did, so we take those. Next, I had to clear out this area of voodoo enemies without being spotted. Easy enough. The next trophy I needed was to defeat 5 ghosts in a single attack. I found the best spot to do this was right here where there are 3 different gravestones spawning ghosts. I ran in a circle for a bit and then swung and got the trophy. The next trophy gave me some trouble. It asked me to jump over all the candles during the chase sequence in the lair of the beast. This sounded simple enough, but for some reason the trophy just wasn't popping. I swore I had done it like 5 different times and it just wasn't working. Eventually, I decided to swing the camera behind me instead of in front of me like the game wanted. This allowed me to be more precise with my jumps over the candles, and I was able to get the trophy on this attempt. After that, it was time for a pacifist run in Descent into Danger, where I couldn't defeat any enemies or destroy any alarms. This was easy until the very end, where a guard is standing in a spot that blocks your progress. Using the decoy ability distracted him as I ran by and got my trophy. Now it was time to stop being a master thief and start being an idiot, as the next trophy wanted me to set off every alarm and alert every enemy in the unseen foe. This seems hard at first, but you can use the invisibility ability to get close to enemies and then kill them the second they see you. And for the alarms, you can wait until you're at the end of the obstacle before being seen. Then I set off 2 pink fireworks in Duel by the Dragon. Honestly, not sure how I didn't do this the first time because they were sitting in plain sight right at the beginning of the level. Oh well. Next, I had to kill 2 enemies with 1 mine. I did it on the Boneyard Casino level because these 2 guards here line up perfectly for it. Phew, okay, just 1 more trophy left. I need to scan 10 different enemies with the binoculars. This can't be done when you first start the game, it's an ability you unlock. Pretty worthless ability honestly if it wasn't for this trophy. Anyways, I had been scanning some enemies indirectly already while looking for the bottles, so this went pretty quickly. I scanned my last enemy here and the Sly Cooper PS5 Platinum trophy was mine. Overall, I had such a great time going for this platinum. It was so much fun replaying one of my childhood favorites again. The new trophies add a nice little extra challenge and help differentiate this version from the other versions we've gotten in the past. Speaking of this version, the emulation is pretty good here for those who are interested. It's very simple, offering a few features like rewind and button mapping. Besides that though, this really is just the PS2 version emulated, so be ready for that. This isn't a remake or anything. But considering the game is being sold for just $10, I would say it's well worth it, whether you've played the game before or especially if it's your first time. This is my first ever trophy hunting video, so if you enjoyed and want more of it, let me know by leaving a like and subscribing. I trophy hunt a lot in my free time already, so I definitely wouldn't mind making this a running series on the channel. Thanks for watching.